You know what? Why hasn't anyone ever asked me if I have a wife?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Hello, and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that make them sound crazy. I'm Hannah, and I'm maximizing my recording screen so I don't have to watch Erin make fun of me again.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just like, I'm just miming the word. I'm just miming alongside of you.
Do you do that every time, and I only noticed it that one time?
No,
the same thing.
this is the second time. You've noticed it both times.
Okay. Well, that's
two for
Erin
two.
that you heard.
Hello.
Admitting to making fun of me, and those deeper dulcet tones are Ben.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Oh my god, that has to become part of the standard introduction.
Our deeper dulcet co-host.
He's not dull, but he's dulcet.
Yes. So
Thank
I
you.
have no idea when I'm gonna have time to edit the ear snack this weekend, but I'm gonna figure it out.
It's Ben's turn. Maybe we'll just do an
Are we
unedited.
going straight into it?
Let's just do it perfectly
Yeah,
at exactly the right volume, and then we'll just put it out.
done.
I think
Okay.
we've already ruined that.
There's only one rule on Way Too Broad, and that rule is that you have to be excited about the thing that you're talking about. And so Erin is, I'm segueing to Erin again because she has warned us that she has so many things to tell us to talk about this week that I want to start hearing them.
I had to make a list, you guys, and then I have that feeling that I forgot something on the list, but
Yeah.
we're just gonna get into it.
Actually, let's first talk about what we're drinking.
Oh yeah, let's do that. You go first.
Okay, I have this hot tea that was just hand delivered
By a hot tea.
by my husband,
Not
My-
boyfriend.
my ex-boyfriend who I married. And what I also have, actually, I would like to show you guys. So this is called Dark Swan Sour Ale. Okay.
A little
and
closer, please. I was just kidding.
I would like you to guess what color you think this might be inside.
Black.
I think it's gonna be a dark brown to black.
Okay.
And I also saw you drinking it, so.
Well,
But that's what I would guess, because the Dark Swan, it makes me think it's probably a brown sour ale, which
Yeah.
I've had before. Whoa, is it red?
What
yeah.
the fuck? It looks like
Oh, get out of
wine.
here. Is that
Yeah.
blood?
It's blood. It's blood, watered down blood.
Is that the blood of a swan?
So I put my flashlight behind my glass that Erin saw me drinking out of, and it's very red. And
She
it's
fucking tricked us.
I fucking tricked you.
You fucking
And-
tricked
and
us.
It's very good. It's tasty, and it's also kind of strong. So
What percent
it's
you
good
got?
podcast fuel.
What?
8.
Wow.
8.5.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Shit. She
Yeah.
just licked the bottle very suggestively. She's like, oh yeah, 8.5.
There was a drip on it.
Well, I'm drinking a coffee stout that is just brown as it looks, and it's a 6%.
Cool.
I'm
Ben.
drinking water.
What percent is that, Ben?
0% anything.
0.
100% hydration.
Hey. Hey.
Good. I just okay. I'm ready.
That's the
to hear your
drink
first
segment. That's our new. What are you drinking? What's in the cup?
Drink report.
That's our. All right. Okay, I have a lot of things to follow up with you guys.
Okay.
Okay, first, let's talk about the Dear David thread. Things got a little crazy. Ben, are you caught up?
I'm not.
All right.
Ben.
No, this is fun. This is good. This is the part where this is the segment where Ben looks at the Dear David thread and has a live podcast reaction.
Yeah, you
Okay.
should do that.
Moby Dickhead. Here we go.
Yep.
While Ben is reading that, I want to just say that I listened to Sia's new Christmas album a ton this week.
That was
So good,
also
right?
on my list.
So
That's
good.
literally on my list. Sia's Christmas album. So fucking good.
So fucking
Right.
good. Great job, Ben. Great job, Kylie. Shout out to Kylie.
Shout out to Kylie.
All right, I'm starting to read it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Should you read it out loud?
Oh.
Yeah, I can do that.
Just
Okay.
and then describe what you're looking at and react
Sure.
as you would
Sure.
out loud, though. Not inside. Outside.
Sorry for the long break. I haven't been feeling great the past couple weeks and haven't had time to update. There also wasn't much to say for the most part. I wasn't sleeping well and I was having weird dreams, but they were vague and hard to describe. I'm sleepy all day long and I've been getting sudden bouts of dizziness. Sounds depressed. I chalked it up to always having earbuds crammed in and had made a mental note to get my ears checked. Other than that, things are pretty quiet. I sort of fooled myself into thinking that finding those items in the attic somehow ended all this. Not that that would make much sense. And for backstory, he found marble in the attic, right?
And a shoe.
And a
And
baby
a shoe fell out of the attic. That's
like
right.
a
It has
small
like a
leather
baby
shoe.
Yeah.
But last week something started to happen. Late on Wednesday, I woke up with a start and felt something strange, like something had just been watching me. I had turned on the light, but I was alone. Still, there was this tangible feeling of badness. Everything felt wrong, sort of like when you have the flu and you wake up at night and can't really tell where you are for a minute. It was a feeling I'm used to. It always accompanies David. People tweet at me a lot saying he might just need help, but I'm certain that's not the case. Every time he shows up, I feel a palpable sense of malice. There's what I felt that night. Malice, dread, but still I was alone, and I was so tired, I wound up just going back to sleep. I've been so exhausted recently I can barely function. The next night, the same thing happened. I woke up suddenly feeling like I had just missed seeing something, like a candle had gone out and I could still smell it. I thought about using the pet cam from the living room to monitor my bedroom while I slept, but the cord was too short to get the camera high enough to see the entire room, so I improvised. I downloaded an app that takes a photo every 60 seconds, set my phone on top of the bookcase. It's almost 7 feet tall, so I had a pretty good view of my bed and the surrounding room. Then I went to sleep. Just like before, I jolted awake hours later, feeling the same unease. I turned on the light and hurried out of bed to get my phone from the bookcase. There were probably 350 photos to scroll through. The vast majority of them were me sleeping in an empty room. It's sort of dark, but you can see me sleeping. I'd left a couple lights on just in case anything showed up, but the first 100 or so photos are just me in an empty room. Yeah, so that's just... It looks like we're kind of like behind his bed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like seeing his head.
is like, yeah, kind of near the bottom.
Yeah.
And then that chair, that green chair, is like kind of in the corner by
Oh,
his
what
feet.
the fuck is that? What the fuck?
What are you seeing,
There's
Ben?
a little dude!
Yeah.
There was nothing, and then there's a little dude at the foot of his bed. A small guy with a dent in his head.
Yeah.
Then
going.
suddenly he was there, standing at the chair at the right when I saw that, Colin just jumped on the back of my chair.
Oh my
and
God.
just like it just sat down behind me. Then suddenly he was there, standing on the chair at the foot of the bed, staring at me. In the next photo, from a minute later, he seems to be staring straight up at the ceiling, just staring. What the fuck? Then he appears to collapse on the chair. The next dozen photos are all the same. He's completely lifeless. At first I thought he was dead, which obviously doesn't make any sense. I looked over at the chair, half expecting him to still be there, but it was empty. Is it empty in that picture? Oh no, that's him collapsed.
Yeah,
What the
that's him
fuck?
collapsed.
But then in the next photo, he's gone. The room is totally empty again. He's gone in the next several photos too. I figured maybe that was it, but I kept swiping through the photos. About 15 photos later, he's back, standing next to the bed. It was just like the last time I saw him.
Okay, I don't see him in this
Yeah,
photo.
I don't either.
Oh, let's keep going. He's there.
Okay.
I've seen it.
That's when my heart started to race. I didn't want to look at the rest of the photos, but I knew I had to. I swiped to the next photo and my heart sank into my stomach. He was on the bed inches from me, staring down at me, sleeping. What the fuck?
His head in that photo.
The next one was worse. In the next photo, he's staring right at the camera.
Yeah.
Yikes, look at those beady little eyes. After that, there's seemingly nothing. He disappears again, and the rest of the scroll is just me alone in my room again. That is until the last photo. Here's the final photo on the scroll. Oh, God, it looks like a little gremlin head. It's just right up against the camera.
So, in the threads, my favorite part of these threads are the threads after he's done when people are reacting. Somebody made a GIF of all of them, like an animated GIF, and you can see the one that he's like kind of standing by the bed a little better.
Oh, I'll look for that.
somebody tweeted in the thread something that I felt described me exactly. It's like, the further that this story goes along, the less I believe it and the more scared I am. Because these photos are like, you're like, sure, you can Photoshop anything these days, but it's like freaky as fuck.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Do you think what happened was, like, he found this weird doll before he did any of these things?
Oh,
and then he was
it
like,
totally is that.
he was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make myself internet famous. Well, no. I mean, listen, I'm not ascribing those types of intentions to him. He wanted to entertain us, and he's doing that.
Yeah, it's a great story, whether it's true or not. Like,
Yeah.
it's still very entertaining. I think it totally sounds reasonably. They found, like, this creepy doll, and he was like, I'm gonna make up a story about this. Like, I don't know, that just seems like anyone who finds a creepy doll, like, makes a backstory to it themselves,
It's a fucking creepy doll.
That's real fucking
like,
creepy.
its proportions are all wrong.
The fact that he managed to get it to stand up so well is a little... I'm wondering how, though.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not a high resolution situation.
True.
But I mean, not to be an Erin about it, but I can't allow myself to believe that this is real.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Oh, I see him in that picture. He's
Yeah.
just really low.
Where?
Okay, that looks like his head is a completely different shape than the other ones.
Maybe you're looking at the dent.
Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it
I
doesn't.
see.
Never mind.
God.
I was blending him with the background.
So I just wonder, like, I expected this to wrap up around Halloween.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, when's it gonna wrap up?
Yeah.
You know?
Halloween.
Next Halloween.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't seem like he has an end point in mind, or it's real, and I'm dead
Right.
from fright.
Well, he needs to move the fuck out. Like, nobody would stay there. Nobody would stay there.
He does need to move. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out. Alright, that was on my list to talk about. We talked about it. Check. The next one was see a Christmas album. Talked about that. Okay, Hannah, I just read about this really funny conspiracy theory I thought that you would enjoy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As a lover of conspiracy theories, and I'm curious if you've heard it. So
Okay.
it's this theory that, I think in 2013, the conspiracy theory is that Avril Lavigne
I've
died.
heard this.
Have you heard this?
Yes.
And the person that we know as Avril Lavigne now was replaced by her body double, Melissa.
Yes.
So, okay, I didn't know if you had heard that. I had not.
Where did you hear it?
I just saw a thread. Somebody had put it on a thread, and I was like, what?
I feel like I saw that on, like, some person on Twitter has, like, a really long thread about it, right? About how, like, why it's true. I feel like I've seen something like that.
Yeah.
There's this ear snack I listen to called Lizard People, and this woman, in LA, she's like a comedy writer of some kind, I think. She has guests on, and she's a skeptic, and their job is to present her with conspiracy theories and give their evidence, and then she tells them how, like, convinced she was by their thing.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
The quality of the research done is kind of all over the place. Sometimes they have, like, a lot to contribute, and sometimes they really don't. And somebody did one about Avril, but it was, like, very loose.
Yeah.
So I did not find myself convinced at all.
Oh, no, I don't. Definitely not.
Like, why? And what? Was it like people were disappointed that she went more mainstream, and so they were like, it can't be her?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because when they're like, her nose looks different, it can't be
Yeah.
her. I'm like, do you understand plastic surgery?
There are other ways to make a nose change than be a different person.
Some of her moles disappeared. It has to be a different person. Like, or a person that just started making money and didn't like her moles.
Right.
Or maybe they were cancerous.
Right. I don't think it's very compelling. I just am amused that it exists.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
my last thing. The end. My last thing is gonna be a little long, but it can take the place of my obsession if you want. Have you guys seen this thing on the internet? I need to read the entire thing. Have you seen this thing on the internet that a group generated Harry Potter fan fiction with artificial intelligence? Have you guys read this?
Yes. It's so good.
Have you read it, Hannah? I'm going to read it on the podcast. I'm glad you read it, Ben. So this group, I'm trying to think. So they basically trained this computer, training an algorithmic tool on all 7 of the children's fantasy novels, and then had it create a chapter. And it's basically the most hilarious thing, and I'm going to read it in its entirety.
Okay.
So, the book that they came up with is Harry Potter and the portrait of what looked like a large pile of ash. So the chapter is called The Handsome One. Where the castle grounds snarled with a wave of magically magnified wind. The sky outside was a great black ceiling, which was full of blood. The only sounds drifting from Hagrid's hut were the disdainful shrieks of his own furniture. Magic. It was something that Harry Potter thought was very good. Leathery sheets of rain lashed at Harry's ghost as he walked across the grounds toward the castle. Ron was standing there and doing a kind of frenzied tap dance. He saw Harry and immediately began to eat Hermione's family. Ron's shirt was just as bad as Ron himself. If you two can't clump happily, I'm going to get aggressive, confessed the reasonable Hermione. What about Ron magic? Offered Ron. To Harry, Ron was a loud, slow, and soft bird. Harry did not like to think about birds. Death Eaters are on top of the castle, Ron bleated, quivering. Ron was going to be spiders. He just was. He wasn't proud of that, but it was going to be hard to not have spiders all over his body after all is said and done. Look, said Hermione. Obviously there are loads of Death Eaters in the castle. Let's listen in on their meetings. The 3 complete friends zapped onto the landing outside the door to the castle roof. They almost legged it, but witches are not climbing. Ron looked at the doorknob and then looked at Hermione in searing pain. I think it's closed, he noted.
Great job, Ron.
Locked, said Mr. Staircase. The shabby-robed ghost. They locked the door, screaming about how closed it was, and asking it to be replaced with a small orb. The password was beef women. Hermione cried. Beef women is in all caps. Harry, Ron, and Hermione quickly stood behind a circle of Death Eaters who looked bad. I think it's okay if you like me, said one of the Death Eater. Thank you very much, replied the other. The first Death Eater confidently leaned forward to plant a kiss on his cheek.
Oh my god.
Oh, well done, said the second as his friend stepped back again. All the other Death Eaters clapped politely. Then they all took a few minutes to go over the plan to get rid of Harry's magic. Harry could tell that Voldemort was standing right behind him. He felt a great overreaction. Harry tore his eyes from his head and threw them into the forest.
From the roof?
Voldemort raised his eyebrows at Harry, who could not see anything at the moment. Voldemort, you're a very bad and mean wizard, Harry savagely said. Hermione nodded encouragingly. The tall Death Eater was wearing a shirt that said, Hermione has forgotten how to dance. So Hermione dipped his face in mud. Ron threw a wand at Voldemort, and everyone applauded. Ron smiled. Ron reached for his wand slowly. Ron's the handsome one, muttered Harry, as he reluctantly reached for his. They cast a spell or two, and jets of green light shot out of the Death Eaters' heads. Ron flinched. Not so handsome now, thought Harry, as he dipped Hermione in hot sauce. The Death Eaters...
No, that tracks. I think the handsome one gets to eat people related to Hermione/Hermione.
Yes.
Ron was eating her family before.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on here. Okay. As he dipped Hermione in hot sauce. The Death Eaters were dead now, and Harry was hungrier than he had ever been. The Great Hall was filled with incredible moaning chandeliers and a large librarian who had decorated the sinks with books about masonry. Mountains of mice exploded.
What?
Mountains of mice exploded.
Okay, thank you.
Several long pumpkins fell out of McGonagall. Dumbledore's hair scooted next to Hermione as Dumbledore arrived at school. The pig of Hufflepuff pulsed like a large bullfrog. Dumbledore smiled at it and placed his hand on its head. You are Hagrid now. We're the only people who matter. He's never going to get rid of us, Harry, Hermione, and Ron said in chorus. The floor of the castle seemed like a large pile of magic. The Dursleys had never been to the castle, and they were not about to come there in Harry Potter and the portrait of what looked like a large pile of ash. Harry looked around and then fell down the spiral staircase for the rest of the summer. I'm Harry Potter, Harry began yelling. The dark arts better be worried. Oh boy. The end.
Oh my god.
Wait, a computer wrote that?
A computer wrote that.
But it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. I would read an entire book like that.
How did it learn to reference the book it was writing?
Yeah, that was an interesting part, I thought. So, credit to Botnik, where this came from.
Botnik.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Ron was covered in spiders. He just was.
No, Ron would become spiders.
That's right, Ron would become spiders.
What was it? Yeah, he just was. My biggest thing, I was like, where did those pumpkins come from? Several long pumpkins fell out of McGonagall.
I also really like the idea of feeling an overreaction.
Yeah.
He felt a great overreaction.
Well, and I mean, like, so much of it made more sense than you would expect. Like, pulling your eyes out of your head and throwing them into the woods would be a huge overreaction to almost anything.
Almost anything. It had a storyline. Like, I followed the storyline.
Yeah, they were traveled from one physical location to another.
Yeah. They were hanging out, eating Hermione's family.
Yeah.
They saw a very polite Death Eater meeting.
I don't know when Harry became a ghost, but...
He was a ghost from the get-go.
Well, I know, but it was never mentioned again.
That's true.
But,
and it did say the 3 complete friends. So, that was a little bit, Bit
of a plot hole.
Didn't have good continuity there.
Yeah. Also, that part where they were like, "We're the most important ones. He'll never get rid of us." That was very meta.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. They said in chorus.
Yeah.
So good. I love how they were screaming about how locked the door was.
Locked, said Mr. Staircase.
That's the end of my list.
Stairs for the rest of the summer.
Okay, Ben. So, family inside jokes. Ben and I were going to talk about Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
So, every Christmas, the boys and I buy each other Iron Man 2 themed presents. And if anybody ever mentions Iron Man or Iron Man 2, we basically talk about it like it's a holy text, but not we don't care about Iron Man. We don't care about Iron Man 3. We don't really even care about, Iron Man in those movies. But the one that has the triangle in his chest from Iron Man 2, that guy, he's our guy.
I don't know that I've seen Iron Man 2 or know, but you're going to go into why that's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ben, do you want to explain why he's our guy?
Sure.
Okay.
So when it was when you graduated college, right? That we did so when Hannah graduated college, as a present for her, our parents took us all on a Disney cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun.
For like a week, and Hannah, Lucas, and I were in one cabin together,
mm-hmm.
And our parents were in a different one. And on the TVs in the Disney cruise ship, they would just have channels that would play the exact same Disney movie over and over again. Mm-hmm. That's all the channels did.
But it wasn't like on demand. It just was constantly looping the same movie.
Yeah.
Classic cruise thing.
And so when we first got there, the TV, like when we turned it on, it was on the Iron Man 2 channel. And every time we were in our room...
That's not true, Ben.
Is it?
We found the Iron Man 2 channel because it always started on the same channel. It's like,
oh, you're right,
like
you're
a generic,
right.
like when you get into a hotel room.
Yeah.
So we would we found the Iron Man 2 channel, and then we figured out what channel it was, and we would switch back to it every time we were in the room.
Gotcha.
Every time we were in the room, we immediately turned on Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And over the course of that week, through seeing it in bits and pieces, we probably watched Iron Man 2 like 7 times.
Mm-hmm, but not like ever really in order. So we knew...
We saw in different parts.
Yeah.
Kind of like when people read the Bible, they don't read it from front to back.
Right.
They read different parts, take out
whatever
the excerpts.
part you need to hear that day.
You'd wake up at 6 a.m. and watch the middle.
Yeah,
and
it's like
exactly.
if you ever have you ever just taken
while we were
the
getting
Bible
ready in the morning,
stood it up on its spine and just let it fall open and just read whatever part. It's
and you're it'll speak
I do that
to you
all the time.
Yeah,
that's so relatable. So over the course of that week, Iron Man 2 just started to mean a lot to us in a very spiritual and religious way.
We would quote it constantly. To our parents' great annoyance, I'm sure. And
I still quote the I don't speak Russian. Anytime I can. That's the biggest one I quote all the time.
God, I wish I remember. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, we should watch it this Christmas.
We should. But it's not a Christmas one, except that it inspired Christmas gifts that year, and then it has inspired them from here on out.
In fact, right now I have a thing that Hannah got me sitting right next to my computer from a couple years ago. It's actually really cool. It's like a it's like a metal sheet that has a comic book cover on it. Like they designed from an old Iron Man comic book.
Oh, cool.
cover.
So it's like really a little poster.
Yeah, but it's made of sheet metal for some reason.
Cool.
One year I got them both they were speakers, but they were in the shape of Iron Man 2's head. And,
yeah, I have that too.
And
it was specifically Iron Man 2. It was an Iron Man.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, can I just list the Iron Man things I can see from where I'm sitting right now?
Sure. You mean Iron Man 2 things?
Iron Man 2 things.
Yeah, Iron Man 2 things. I have that poster. I have a little plush thing that has a rotatable head, and the head's really big, and it's Iron Man 2. And his arc reactor is a little button in his chest, and it actually stands up on its own. It's really cool. And then over on the windowsill, I have those pops things. They're little figurines that you don't know what you're getting till you open it. I have a War Machine one, which is the Don Cheadle Iron Man suit that he uses in Iron Man 2. And I have that speaker Hannah was talking about also sitting next to it on the windowsill.
So when you moved in with Kylie, she was like, you really like that movie, don't you?
Yeah, and she likes to talk about how the first one's better, and I just can't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you just said. So
It doesn't sound like anything to me.
Yeah. But so that year I got them both that speaker, and it had a little demo button on the top, and if you press the demo button it would like play some music. And the song, I still remember it because that day, that Christmas morning, the boys just decided to like jam out to that like 15-second like rock. It's like it's like a guitar, like an electric guitar. I'm like, they just kept on playing it over and over and over and over again and jamming out to it. And it was extremely fun. Oh, that's it.
It's a good jam right there.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely pumps you up.
That's so interesting to have a demo button on a speaker. It's like they were making the speaker and they're like, no one's gonna believe that this Iron Man 2 head speaker works. We should add a demo button.
Yeah.
With the sick song.
Yeah. With a sicker song than you could ever even find anywhere. We also have Iron Man 2 ornaments on our parents' tree, and
we always make sure they're the highest ornaments on the tree.
Yeah.
Like, for respect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Mom tries to put them lower sometimes, then we move them.
You should yell at her. You should scold her for that.
Oh, we do.
We do.
I want to shout out to Aunt Brown and Uncle Norb because I used one of their bath bombs. I don't know how they knew. I love bath bombs, and it was heavenly. Thank you again.
What do you want to shout out the brand?
Yeah, Lush.
Oh, Lush
brand.
is good shit.
Yeah, this was a good shit. It was a polar bear that had I think it had cocoa butter and some other oils in it. So I soaked in the bathtub reading my book, which is going to be my obsession this week, and got out of the bath with like super like oily moisturized skin. It was perfect.
It sounds great for you.
Yeah, so shout out to Uncle Norb and Aunt Brown. Thank you again so much. Podcast shout outs. It's the new thank you note.
Fingers crossed. Oh, speaking of Uncle Norb and Aunt Brown.
Do we have a reader email about this?
Huh? No, but Dad did join the Facebook group, and he explained in the Facebook group how we ended up listening to Brave Combo.
Oh, I saw that, but I was no explanation about Aunt Brown whatsoever.
No.
Radio silence about that. We're just fine with this. We're just fine with this. That's her new thing now. That's what she wants to be called.
Mom Brown has been kind of busy, so I don't think she's had time to email.
That's
about
fine.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's just her way of introducing her new name to the world.
Brown.
Brown.
I'm just checking to see if we do have any emails. No, we don't. That's fine.
That's fine.
So yeah, so that's that. Another quick one is that another thing we do to kind of hassle Mom Brown when we're in the house is
oh yeah
is she has these like 3 letters that she puts up on the mantle every year, and she always puts them out as JOY, and we think that's wrong, so we always change it to the actual word, which is OYJ. OYJ.
She gets very upset.
Yeah,
obviously.
she changes it back, and it's just like a constant battle. Dad's in on it too. He helps us.
It's honestly like an introduction to the holiday season every year when Dad sends us a text that's a picture of OYJ and he says, fixed it.
Do you try to go see how long she'll go without noticing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really great fun. So one time I found like 3 giant like hanging letters at Target, and they also had them in the wrong order there, and so I fixed it at Target.
Nice. Have you seen the thing where it's like Santa and people rearrange it to say Satan?
I like that.
Yeah. It's similar.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you and your family great OYJ this holiday season.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks.
OYJ to the world.
OYJ to the world.
That's good. That was a double dose of family inside jokes.
Yeah.
You know, your thing reminded me that once I was watching a DVD on this DVD player that, for whatever reason, fathomable reason, had a random mode, and so I'm watching this movie, and it's like some kid's cartoon movie, and I'm like, this movie makes no fucking sense. And then I realized that it was playing in random, so it's like each, DVDs would have like the sections, and it would just be playing a random section every time.
Why would you ever want that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Well, you guys could want that, because then you could watch Iron Man 2 as it's meant to be watched.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. That must be what it was made for.
Yeah, that's true. From the makers of Iron Man 2. Random DVD player. Tell your loved ones you love them this Christmas.
Ben, you're up first.
Bring your loved ones Oj.
All right. Before I forget, I want to mention that give a shout out to Kylie, because she's the one that showed me the See a Christmas album and listened to it first.
Did we not fucking already give her a shout out for this?
We did.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
think we did on Snack, did we?
We did. But
earlier.
that's good.
Earlier tonight.
You did?
Yeah.
A twice.
I'm so sorry, I don't remember it.
A twice baked shout out potato.
Yeah, that's fine. She can give as many shout-outs as she wants. Shout out again.
Shout out again. Apropos of nothing, shout out to Kylie.
Yeah, for real. My obsession this week is the new Pokemon game that came out a couple weeks ago. Or actually, yeah, it came out like right before Thanksgiving, and Kylie got it for me for our anniversary, which was this past Saturday.
Happy anniversary.
How many years?
Shout out to Kylie.
6 years.
6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Ben likes to point out he's been together longer than... you guys have been together longer than Ian and I have, I think.
By like 2 months or something.
Molly and I have been together longer than you and Kylie, Ben.
That's true. So you guys win, but we're second place.
2011. July
famous last.
2011 was us.
Well, I guess we're just the losers then. That's fine.
So I love Pokemon a lot. This is kind of... I know we usually do like kind of transient obsessions, but this is like very much a lifelong obsession for both myself and Lucas. In fact, about a year ago, I was thinking about how like I've played at least one of the Pokemon games from every single generation, and a lot of them I've played more than once. And I just was like curious how much time roughly I'd spent playing Pokemon in my life. So I totaled up the game time that I had and all the like cartridges that I had with me, and just on those it totaled up to 45 days and 21 and a half hours.
Oh my
Wow.
And one of those was from the cartridge that like from the first game I ever played where the battery was dead in the cartridge, so it lost all of my data, so that was probably like a couple hundred hours more. And then there are other ones I've like played through again or I've lost. So it's been a lot, and like the new one is really fun because it's different from all the other ones, and that traditionally Pokemon games are like you beat 8 gyms and then you go to the championship after. But there's no gyms in this one. It's just like fun little things called trials, which are almost like mini games. And it's based on in a region that's based on Hawaii. So it's all tropical themed and stuff. Is it different Pokemons? Yeah, there's a bunch of new ones. In fact, they actually took a bunch of the Pokemon from this is the 7th generation now, and they took a bunch of Pokemon from the 1st generation and gave them like alternate forms in this new region, which is like, and basically the idea behind it is that they evolve differently in a tropical climate than they did in like the Japanese climate. So like the big example everyone thinks of is Executor, which is usually like it's based on a palm tree with like
eggs.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Those are kind of like coconuts, but they're eggs.
Yeah, it's like if coconuts were eggs.
Yeah,
like rotten eggs. Yeah. Somebody was real high when they came out with that.
And Alolan Executor is the same kind of thing, except it's got a very, very tall neck. It's like super long, and to the point where when you like battle with it, it goes off the screen. So you like actually can't see little Pokemon. It's really funny looking.
Ben, did you get into Pokemon Go when it came out?
No, I don't like Pokemon Go.
Oh, tell me why. Tell me why.
Because it's just not at all like Pokemon. I don't know. It was, for one, the app was really bad when it first came out.
Yeah.
Like, really slow, and it ate a ton of battery. And I didn't like having that, like, the way you played it was basically walking around staring at your phone.
I liked it.
And it's just like I almost feel kind of sad that a lot of kids, like Kylie's siblings, like what their first introduction to like a Pokemon game, quote unquote, is Pokemon Go, when it's like not at all like how Pokemon games usually are.
Yeah, I can see that for the purist.
So what's the point?
I guess I'm a Pokemon purist.
For you, Ben, as a purist, what's the point of Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Point?
Pokemon.
What do you mean?
Oh, so true.
Have fun.
No, like, what's your goal when you get a new Pokemon game? Like, are you trying to beat it, or are you trying to catch them all?
I'm trying to beat it, but I always try and use Pokemon I've never used before. That's usually like my goal, because I've played through so many times now, through like so many different ones, that my goal is usually to kind of use Pokemon I wouldn't normally tend to, or ones that aren't necessarily like on paper as good, just to like make it a little more challenging. And also like with the last generation, Lucas and I got really into like competitive Pokemon battling.
You sure did.
Yeah. It was actually really fun. We made this
you.
thing called a draft league, where like you would like put together a team based on like tiers. So you were like forced to pick Pokemon that weren't that good, and then like every week we would go up against, we had like a league with like a few other people, and every week you'd go up against someone else, and you'd pick a 6 out of your team of like 12 to go against them. It was super, super fun.
Hannah, you said for you, like you've been feeling left out this whole time.
Well, so the boys, when they talk about Pokemon together, it's very impossible to follow. Like, and I'm not gonna like make them like I'm not invested enough in. I played the first Pokemon game and I beat it mostly with Bulbasaur, and I didn't really evolve any of my other Pokemon. And then I was like, I beat this game, I'm done with it, and I stopped playing it. And then everyone was like, I got this, and I got that, and I did this, and I was like, I don't fucking care, I beat the game. And I just like like stopped playing it because I beat it. And that was like the amount I had a really good time with it, you know, winning the game with Bulbasaur as my Pikachu type buddy, and like,
so to speak.
Yeah,
with Bulbasaur as my Pikachu.
Yeah,
so to speak.
and then I moved on with my life. But the boys played ever, and they're always talking about like shiny this and like the cosmic that and gold and silver and stuff and moon.
Well,
and so
can I tell you why I think that is, that we got more into it than you
battles did? Because of all your friends.
Because you're a boy. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think it's because we started with Generation 2 and you played Generation 1 first. And like you said, there really is, with the Generation 1 games, like you beat the game and there's really not much to do after that.
Just go catch more.
But when you beat, in Generation 2, when you beat like 8 gyms and then do the Elite Four and beat the game, there's a whole nother region and 8 more gyms you can beat. So there's like this whole post-game region, so there's like a ton to do after you actually beat the game.
Well, then how did you beat it? In what way did you beat it if there's more stuff to go beat?
Hannah grew up in an old-fashioned time where you beat the game once and then you were done with it.
I think technically you considered beating the game when you beat
Is this what it's going to be like when I'm a grandma? And
you beat it once and for all. You didn't keep going back and beating it again. You put it away. You never thought about it again.
Back in my day, when you finished the game, it was over.
Yes, this is exactly how it's going to be. It's already happening. It's starting to set in. Early onset elderly lady.
onset grumpiness.
So.
I have a noob question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
What came first? The card game, the television show, or the video game?
Video game.
Okay.
Huh.
I was so into the card game.
You did?
As a youth. I was really into it. Yeah,
I
loved
always
it.
tried to, but Lucas never wanted to play with me because he did not like it as much as I did, and there was no one else to play with.
I used to play with my big brother, and maybe my little brother. But definitely my big brother. Like, we would go to the game store and, like, buy the packs where you might have, like, the holograph cards or whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I loved the card game. It was super fun.
Yeah. Well, I wish I would have known we could have played together.
I wish I would have too.
You still could. There's still time.
There's still time.
There's no time.
Oh, I forgot to light my podcast candle. Yeah.
You idiot.
God,
The
Anna!
recording is ruined.
Nothing's gonna go right.
It smells like lavender.
Podcast candle.
It's smoking a
Smells
lot.
like lavender.
Oh, God.
Catch 'em, catch 'em. Gotta catch 'em all. Ben, can you do the whole
I also
song?
loved the television show.
I did too when I was younger.
Great one, Ben.
Thanks.
Good one, Ben.
I've sent...
I love Pokemon. Everyone should play it.
Ben,
That
I've
makes
sent
me
you...
want to get...
Ooh, what?
Just like, I don't have a video game device, and it just, all this talk about video games makes me really want to play it, because it's something that I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have one.
You should get a Switch, or just go get Steam on your computer. There's lots
That's
of good
true.
computer games.
Yeah, we need to set up a date to play some Dominion, y'all.
Yes.
Yes. We're still into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing obsession for all of us.
Update, still into it.
It's not
Update,
right.
hoping to get that for the Christmas.
So on the Slack, I sent you guys a picture that I saw the other day, and I wanted to ask Ben, are these Pokemons from this meme that I found online, are they from the new game?
These only go up to the 5th generation. So there's 2 generations missing from this.
What the
I
fuck?
like how you knew that.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it the
it's
starters
pretty
from 5
nuts.
generations?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
The last ones, they gave them all stupid names. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read the stupid names. The Bulb, Spicy Boy, Shelly. I bet you can guess what those ones are. And then these ones you won't. You might. Leafhead, Whoosh, Bitey, Lizard Person, Borb, Mudkip. That's his real name, isn't it?
Mudkip is Mudkip.
Yeah. Franklin, Diddy Kong, Borb 2.0. And
Diddy
the
Kong.
last 3, the last 3 are my favorite. Smug Snake, Ham Friend, and Moist Baby.
Smug
Just-
Snake is actually pretty accurate.
Feels
'Cause
sad
it's
a lot without knowing why. Sorry.
We can post this. We'll post this with the episode when it goes up.
Smug Snake's final evolution is a big snake called Superior.
Oh, really?
As in Superior Snake. Yeah.
I identify with Ham Friend. Very warm, gives good hugs, doesn't get jokes right away.
I love ham also. Like, if you need a friend to eat some ham with, call me. I'll give you my number and I'll call you.
That's a call back.
Back.
May I go, Ben, please?
Yes, please.
You don't have an obsession, so I hear. Word on the street. Word on the snack.
Well,
You
I
front.
haven't talked about this on Snack because it was, not a completed part of my life yet. But I started a new job this week, so
Woo, woo, woo.
yeah. So I've been extremely absorbed in kind of learning my new commute, which is pretty long, and like figuring out, when I need to leave the house and like what my new sleep schedule is, and like. Right now I'm kind of in the phase where like I'm trying to get as much sleep as I possibly can so that I'm like can actually absorb all the training they're giving me, which is like awesome. So I've been like coming home and like I'll pick one thing and I'll watch it and it's usually like a Polygon thing, and then I'll go to bed. I guess I could talk a little bit about Polygon because they seem to be like my favorite, like, turn your brain off entertainment right now. I think I've mentioned them before because that's where Griffin and Justin McElroy work for their day jobs, and it's a video game. It's a video gaming website, I guess. Like video game journalism, but I really like a lot of the YouTube content that is produced there. It's actually probably a good time to mention them because right now they're like posting up like day by day their top 10 video games of the year. They're making like little videos about them, and today actually they just posted the one about PUBG, and it includes a bunch of clips of Awful Squad, which I've talked about on here before, but like some of their most fun moments that they've had on it. So it's like a little like short little clip show of like why PUBG is fun. With PUBG is short for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's a video game that we've talked about before.
Which you should know because you should have listened to the first episode in which you would have heard that.
Everybody listen to every episode, or you're not welcome here.
Maybe it's like the second. That's not true.
It's not.
But
yeah, it's not the first, but that's fine.
You kind of escalated that.
I'm just kidding.
Still, get the fuck out of here and listen to it.
Yeah, turn your fucking phone off right now. Turn the whole thing off.
Turn the whole thing off and then turn it back on and listen to episodes.
Turn your tiny little phone off. You should get that too.
Put your little phone in the toilet. That's what you deserve.
So I'll post a link to the video in the homework because, and I'll post it for you guys to watch too, because I think it's hard because they're like 2-hour long streams that they do every Tuesday, and it's really hard to kind of like get people into watching those kind of like on their own, because for long stretches sometimes it's just like them trying to figure out, you know, to get everybody to like click ready so that they can actually play, and so it's like not always that interesting. But like when it's really funny or it's really fun or it's really interesting like that, then it's like, you know, so it's nice to have like a spot where you can see some of that stuff condensed together in one place. So I'll send that. But yeah, cool. Beyond that, it's just been like learning the ropes at my new job and remembering what it's like to be new at a job and kind of struggling with that whole thing. But I'm working through it. I think it's going to be good.
Cool. So excited for you.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was a good step, so I'm happy with it.
Great job, hamster.
So Erin.
Well, I'll be brief because I talked a lot at the beginning with my Harry Potter thing, and we're just hitting an hour here soon. But okay, so mine's just similar to last week. I was like, "What's my obsession this week?" And I was like, "I read 2 books this week."
You're a regular old Ben.
I know. I'm very Ben this week. I read 2 lesbian books. I read Ruby Fruit Jungle and which is a classic. And so good, really, really, really good book. And Confucius Jane, which is like a lesbian romance book. Both really good. Really enjoyed them. I'm hoping to get out of my... I'm not hoping to get out of my kick. It's just like all I want to read right now.
Just follow your heart.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When you say like lesbian books, is that mostly because it's lesbian romances in them?
Yeah, or yeah, mostly. They don't necessarily have to be a quote unquote romance. Like I wouldn't call Ruby Fruit Jungle a romance book. But the central character is a lesbian.
Gotcha.
So like lesbian themes. Confucius Jane, which I just read, that I really liked, is definitely classified as a lesbian romance, and romance being a genre of like there's apparently really like specific criteria a book has to meet to be classified as a romance, and I think it has to include maybe a happy ending. I'm not sure, but yeah, there were a few of those in that book. Another thing I've been doing, in addition to, like, reading them and ovulating, is, going on the library and like finding what books I can find on the library that, you know, have like
on the roof?
Huh?
Like on the roof?
Going on top of the library. Is that not how you find books? You like go on the roof and yell at a librarian? Give me the lesbian book!
What do you got?
I just remembered one of the things I forgot to put on my list. I can't believe I forgot this. I saw Tig Notaro live last night, you guys.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Again?
And that was we were in the front row.
Oh, that was that. No, you're
That's
right.
awesome.
You just mentioned you got the tickets last time.
Right.
That's awesome.
This was the show last night. It was so good.
So good. Did you see her nose hairs?
So good.
Yeah. Really did. All of them. They were beautiful. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. But anyway, that's just been my obsession is lesbian books and finding them in the library specifically. So the library has this list. It's called, they have like different like reading lists, and they have one called like rainbow reading, and they have like a whole like, you know, like gay and lesbian one. And I was like, this is awesome. What a great resource. I'm going to reserve a bunch of these books. And they don't have a single one in their collection. They have an entire reading list and do not carry any of them.
Huh.
What?
Tell me what kind of sense that makes.
None.
No sense.
None. Nonsense. Nonsense. So anyway, same obsession as last week.
So do you have to keep, like, do you have to have them order them for you?
I don't know where that's an option. It's not like they don't have it at my branch. They just, like, I searched the catalog, and it's like, no results.
Fuck? That's so weird.
Okay.
That's not actually a book. We just made it up.
This was, like, your idea, not my idea. You're like, the website, it's like the same website. On this website, it's like, read this great lesbian book. And I'm like, awesome, let me look it up in the catalog. And it's like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. I'm like being gaslighted by my library.
Dang, that's cold, library.
It's cold. But I've been able to find a few, so.
That's good. I'm glad you've been able to locate some.
Mm-hmm. I put some on my Christmas list, so.
If you go up on the roof, then sometimes they meet your demands.
I'm gonna protest. I'm like not gonna move from the roof until they carry every book on the rainbow reading list.
Make sure they know you're actually up there before you start this protest, though. Otherwise,
That's a
you
good
might
point.
just be staying on top of the library.
I appreciate that feedback. I'm gonna add that to my list.
Great segment.
Cool. Well, thanks, Erin.
You're welcome, Hannah and Ben.
Can I do a very late correction? Because we normally do those right at the beginning.
Yes.
We mentioned that we thought Mark Kurlansky wrote Zero, the history of... What's it called? Zero, the history of a dangerous idea?
Okay.
Biography of a dangerous idea. He did not. Charles Seif wrote it.
Good correction.
Yeah. And also, for anyone who wants to read that, the Basque book that I talked about last week, be prepared for the fact that it was written in 1999. I was not. So I'm like one chapter from being done with it, and I was like, he's in like the late 90s now, and he only has like a chapter left. Is he going to talk about like the last 15 years or so? And then I looked at the publishing date, and it was published in 1999, so that was up to like modern day when it came out.
Is there not like an updated one?
I don't think so. I mean, I got this like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Couple
I
few.
guess not.
Couple few
Well,
months.
dang. Yeah.
Homework.
Play Pokemon.
Play Pokemon.
I'm gonna get a
Seriously,
Switch
if people
someday.
want to like get into Pokemon for the first, like if people actually want to start, I think a good place to start for playing Pokemon is Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green.
Is that something that you need a Game Boy for?
Yeah, it's Gameboy Advance game.
So
In terms of like DS games, I think the best ones to start with would be like Soul Silver or Heart Gold.
Are there any you don't
if
need
I
it?
were
Yeah. Same question.
What was the question? I don't know what the question was.
Like a couple words. I'm gonna start doing that. Somebody just like says a couple words and would be like, yeah, same question. I promise you, we did not have the same question.
Go ahead, ask your question. Let's see.
I bet you $1 million our question is not the same. My question was, Ben, if I were to get a Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy DS, which one's better to get?
Yes.
Or to interrupt somebody and be like, different question.
I would get, this is the dumbest name for a console ever, but the newest one is called the new Nintendo 3DS.
What?
Like, that's actually the name of it.
I don't like the whole 3D thing, though.
I don't use the 3D at all, but there are games that, like, you can only play on the
But
Nintendo
you're paying
3DS.
for it.
Yeah, you got me.
I do have early onset elderly woman syndrome.
I was gonna say.
Here I am, rob me. You know what I mean? Well, I'm thinking about, like, if I were to go to a yard sale, like, pick one up at a yard sale. Game Boy Advance is fine. Or
yeah, but
DS.
you wouldn't be able to play, like, I would get a DS if you could.
Okay.
Because all the, like, newer games are for the DS. 3DS especially.
But not a
If you wanna play,
Switch.
like, the good ones.
A Switch is kind of different.
Yeah, Switch is totally separate.
My question was, what if you don't?
Same question.
What if you don't have any of those things? Is every Pokemon game a mobile game?
Yeah, handheld.
Handheld. That's the word I'm looking for.
They're all handheld.
Not mobile.
Yeah, they're all handheld. Well, actually, that's not... All the main series games are handheld. Handheld.
Handfelt.
Handheld.
Handfelt.
Why?
Why?
Because that's how they sell their handheld systems. If they make a new Pokemon and it makes their handheld systems sell like fucking hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
Fucking hotcake.
I've never bought a hotcake in my life.
Same. So I guess they're not selling very well. That's like why that like every console that Nintendo's released has come out with like a Mario or a Zelda game with it, because those are like the two biggest console franchises. And then every handheld game comes out pretty close to a new Pokemon game.
Sure. I just don't see why they have to limit themselves. That's all.
And AKA limit you.
And because the with the older Pokemon games, there was like the whole trading and battling with your friends thing, and you had to do it through a cable, and it was like a whole
thing.
Carry it around and do it at school kind of thing, which I used to do.
I have to.
So fuck off.
Okay.
Fuck off,
All right. Actually,
Anna.
Ben, give your Twitter, because then I'll do my homework next, and I'll give my addendum.
N-E Disco Greg. The latest picture I posted is I was moving Como while he was sleeping on my chair today, and I had to sit there, and he just stayed in my arms, sleeping stretched out on his back, and it's really funny. I have
So
several
sweet.
pictures of it, and they're really funny, so I'm gonna keep posting them.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks.
My homework is watch this Polygon PlayerUnknown's Battleground video that I'm going to post. They gave it number 2 game of the year. I don't know what number 1's going to be yet.
Did they do Odyssey yet?
No.
Or Breath of the Wild?
I don't know.
I bet it'll be one of
I
those.
don't know. I don't know what the other ones were. I also realized that I didn't do a great job explaining other types of content that Polygon puts out, because they're kind of weird and offbeat, and I wanted to also give a shout out to a new web series that they do called Yellface, which is this one guy, Jeff Ramos, who works there, plays Outlast 2, which is like a horror game where you're like basically trying to like stay hidden from a bunch of like crazy, violent, dirty, like religious zealots of some kind, like and it's like always dark, it's never daytime, and you're just trying to like not get caught because they'll kill you if they catch you, and there's all kinds of weird creepy things going on. And then sometimes randomly you're also like in an abandoned school at night and creepy things happen in the school, and it's like not a game I would normally watch, but this guy Jeff Ramos plays it, who doesn't even like horror games. And then Simone de Rochefort, who I've mentioned before too, who's one of the other video producers at Polygon. She hooks up to a heart rate monitor and watches him play, and the two of them like completely freak out and yell at each other about this scary game that they're playing together. And it's extremely fun. She's always yelling at him to hide, and he's like, I'm not gonna hide, why would I hide? She's like, this is the whole point of the game, you're so bad at stealth, and they die constantly. It's very good. So I'll post
are you gonna post links to that?
I'll post that one too. And Yellface. Ian doesn't like it, but it makes me jump and scream, and I love it. And my Twitter is at Anthropology. It's anthropology with an H at the beginning of it and a Y at the end of it.
So HANTHROPOLOGIEY?
Yep.
Got it. Everyone follow that handle that I just...
Yeah.
Erin, what's your homework?
My homework is, well, the 2 books I read were great. Ruby Fruit Jungle is good for everybody. I think it's a really interesting book, and it's a classic. And Confucius Jane, if you're looking for an emotionally intelligent, not necessarily the most well-written, but not bad lesbian romance. You can read that one.
Happy ending.
Yeah. And it's frustrating, but not in, like, it's like, at the beginning of the story, like, the characters know that they're gay and their families know that they're gay. It's not like a coming out story. Like, a lot of the media that you get is a lot of that, so it's not any of that, which is nice.
That's cool.
And check out Lush's bath bombs. They're the bomb.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your Twitter?
Oh, at Earnburn. Lesbian movie reviews, which is going to start including books soon, guess why, is on Instagram at lesbian movie reviews.
Lesbian movie reviews.
Also, a couple of my friends are going to start posting as well.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
cool.
You're going to start a little...
Because I've been terrible at creating content. But I just broke 600 followers.
Sweet.
So
that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
It ain't easy creating content, you know?
No, it's hard to create content. This content is easy to create, but we don't really talk about it. So. JK.
Yeah, somebody
we talk about so many
messaged
things.
Our Twitter today and was like, hey, I'm interested in learning more about your podcast. It's like some podcast app. And called Chorus, and they're like, can you tell us about it? And I just kind of like stared at that message for a while and then just closed it because I don't know what to say.
You're like, no, I can't. I think you could describe it. I think we could focus less on the content of, like, we talk about our obsessions, but we, like, it's like the thing about it is not the things we discuss. It's that, like, we're kind of just all, like, laughing with each other.
It's about laughing with each other.
But that's worse.
Can you put that into a concise message?
It's about laughing with each other.
And, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at 2BroadPod, TOO BroadPod, like a pod of narwhals. Our email, if you want to reach out to us and tell us how to explain our ear snack to people, it's waytoobroad@gmail.com.
Or how to explain your new name, Aunt Brown.
Yeah, please.
Oh, also Sweden listener, please email us.
I don't know.
Are they still listening?
I don't know. I'm not. And somebody pointed out that it could be like someone using a VPN or something.
VPN.
Yeah. But no, I think it's possible we scared them off.
Well, if you are, contact us and tell us you're not from Sweden.
And yeah, and if you enjoyed yourself, please leave us a review. And we'd appreciate it. And have a beautiful rest of your day.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next
Or
week.
night.
Well.
Talk to you next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. keep asking if you have a boyfriend at your new job. And you're kicking yourself.
Okay, no. So so they took me out to lunch my first day.
No.
They took me out to lunch my first day, and one person asked me if I had a boyfriend, and
That's
I
a
said,
weird question.
I mean, I was like, oh, I'm married, right? I guess she hadn't seen my rings, or like my rings are unconventional. Maybe she thought they were like promise rings or something, right? I don't know.
That reaction is exactly what I was feeling.
My reaction?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not like, but I'm kicking myself that I didn't say no, but I do have a husband.
Oh, yeah.
Why did I not do that?
Well, because you're trying to make you're trying to make a good impression.
Well,
You should have said I have a former husband that I married, or former boyfriend.
I should have, and that would have been another good one. And I went with the most boring and like kind of like shaming her one. Like, how dare you? I'm married.
Did you hold your mug like with your rings front and center? You should have just put your hand in her face and twiddled your ring at her. That's what I would have done. I would have been like, can I tell this story real quick?
Yeah.
One time when I was 18, I was in Durham Tech at a community college in class with a lot of older people, and including this like much older woman. And I overheard her, and I thought I heard her say something about her husband's job. And I said, what does your husband do again? And she whipped her head at me, and she said, I am not married to a man. And I was 18, and I just like curled up into a ball and died. But like the next time somebody asks me if I have a husband, which will never happen because I'm like the most gay looking person, I'm gonna be like, I'm not married to a man. So you can use that if you want.
Thank you. But I am married to a man.
You are. You can ask that if somebody asks you if you're married to a woman.